All right. I'm using my headset, which I bought prior to this trip. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to sound great per se, but it's a little breezy here, and yeah, I'm not entirely sold on whether or not this is where I'm staying for the night because it feels a little early. It's been 65 and a half miles, and for me, I feel like that's like, I don't know, I'm getting it in my head again. So I have come to this spot, and when I saw it, I was like, man, I can't say no to that spot. Like, it's amazing. It's another amazing spot. Like, I'm right off of the Katy Trail, which I gotta say, I had no idea that this was a thing. I think all day when I've been seeing signs about it and people talking to me about it, I had in my mind thinking about the KD Trail. This is the KT Trail, Katy, but there's like a hiking trail that I think is called the Katy, like Kady, and that's the trail that I thought everyone was talking about. And I was like, oh, I guess that's like a rail to trail in Missouri. I thought it was like something that's like out in Wyoming or like Colorado or something like that. Um, but yeah, like I'm like right off of this trail that I've been on all day long, and I just saw this spot and I was like, this doesn't look like anyone is going to come down here for any reason, not to mention it's Saturday. Ooh, now I'm kind of thinking like maybe this is a bad call. Maybe people do come here because it's a Saturday, but I don't really know. I can't tell. I'm in the boondocks enough to where we can just let things lay as they may. It's not going to be necessarily like what would happen in a city, just because I'm mostly used to a city. So, anyway, yeah, I've just been on this amazing trail all day that I had no intention of being on, Like, I thought that I would want to get up here so that I could see the Missouri River, and then there was this added bonus of, this whole trail system that I had absolutely no idea about. Again, the guys who I met the other day, David and Brian, they told me about the Katy Trail, but again, I was thinking hiking, and I just wasn't thinking about anything specific. But I've been very, very pleased today to find this path and this trail. It was mostly shaded for the majority of the day. There were some periods where you were like kind of exposed, but as compared to like riding on the highway that was parallel with the Katy Trail for the majority of my day, like this was just heaven. Not to mention it was like flat. It was just so flat. It's an old rail bed. And it's interesting, I'm looking west, if that's west, north, south. Okay, I guess the Missouri River flows east or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I've been enjoying my day. It's been a great day. Being here is kind of like the icing on the cake. Again, I couldn't help myself as soon as I saw it. I was like, it's picnic tables. It's a covered pavilion. In fact, I should take my stuff out and dry it a little bit. Let's do some dual purpose. Let's do some needfuls together, shall we? So I have seen 2 cars now go by. So maybe I'm being a little bit too brash, but I think that if I tuck myself into a little corner over here on the side, I think this will probably be fine. Who knows? It doesn't look like this area is abused. There's not like a bunch of trash all over the place, so that's a good sign, I'm just gonna take my sleeping bag out and my tent and let them kind of air dry a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take care of your gear. Lieutenant Dan said, take care of your feet. And part of that general ethos was just, your gear is important. Like, how you treat your stuff is how well it will treat you in your time of need, my dude. So I like to try to let my gear breathe, which kind of was a little bit of a theme for today, because this was kind of crazy, but as I was biking, at a certain point, I was like, man, my feet feel like they're in prison. Like, I've been wearing these shoes that I got before the trip, and this is always like a bad idea, but I had not worn them at all prior to, like, I wore them one time for like one ride just to make sure that they were actually shoes and not bricks or something like that, prior to leaving Atlanta. But then I've been wearing them nonstop out here, and they've been like messing with my toes a little bit. Like one specific toe, I don't really even know how to describe what is happening to it. It doesn't feel good. That part I know. But it's just like, for some reason, maybe it's the thickness of the sole of the shoe or something like that. But whatever it is, it's just been causing some pain. And I haven't washed my clothes or anything like that since leaving Louisville, which was quite a while ago. And get off my pillow, my dude. My socks are kind of gross, and today I was like, man, I'd love to like not be wearing shoes right now. And I was like, well, I could try like biking with my sandals just to see if the proof of concept is like there. And so at a certain point I did bike for like 10 or 15 miles maybe in my sandals, which, definitely not the right tool for the job, but very, very comfortable, and my toes felt better. And I was just like, man, it's kind of crazy that, a big part of my leg never really gets to, experience any kind of sunlight. Like there's a part of me that does not like that. And so I decided, I'm getting out of order here. I should really go in sequence so that all this kind of makes sense contextually as a whole. And I'm kind of digging this, honestly. Like stopping a little early. Like I know I already described this scene, but I'm right on the Missouri River, and I'm here in the exact way that I would want to be, which is like, covered if I need to be covered, and I've got some hours here to spend some time enjoying instead of just biking through, which again, that's the ultimate balance for me. It's like, this isn't a job, so I don't need to approach it like work, but there is work involved, and I also don't want to, become too lackadaisical. Like I said, it's like a definite balance, and so trying to be mindful of that. I hope no other cyclists or anyone goes by, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm not planning on going to bed for quite a few hours now, and in the meantime I can just do some needfuls under the presumption that I am merely taking a break, my dude. That's all I'm doing. I'm just taking a little break. It's not a big deal. Care to join me? It's nice over here. I think I can tuck myself into a corner and be off everyone's radar. So this morning I woke up. I don't remember exactly what time it was, like 6:30 or so. It was with the sunrise for sure. And I enjoyed a cup of coffee from my tent. I think I actually had 2 cups of coffee. I hadn't had coffee like that for a while, where I'm like in bed and just kind of relaxing, and so that was a real treat. That was a good, strong way to start the day, and I packed up all my stuff, which was a little bit difficult because I was like in the middle of a field, so I didn't have something easy to put my bike on. I leaned it against a tree while I kind of put my life together, and that was helpful and certainly worked, but not as convenient as what I'm doing now, which is pretty crazy how convenient and efficient what I'm doing right now is. Man, I'm kind of like evaluating my stuff, thinking if I need to send any of it back. I think that I am at a point where I probably could send a few things back, especially, well, we'll get to it, but let's just say, as a teaser, I got a new pair of shoes today. Perhaps I kind of teed that up a little bit, given the preamble from a little earlier. But in any case, yes, there was a great, I'm going to go ahead and stop my ride. 65.5 for the day. I'm going to say this is it, unless something happens tonight that I'm not expecting. I'm going to call that good. I don't think there's much service over here. Let's see. Sinking in progress, y'all. This is big. This is when Strava gets involved. This is when stories are made. But anyway, yes. So this morning There was a great cafe that was right next to where I had slept, and they were really busy this morning. It was kind of crazy. People, I was like, damn, like, what are you guys doing here? Like, I know I'm out of place and it's strange to be here, but what is your reason for being here? It was a really cool town. It was small and charming and very, very German forward. Oops, sorry. Like they were very proud of the German heritage of the area and of that specific town. And yeah, it felt like a lot of history there. I wasn't really entirely sure what from or why, but I know, like when you have like port towns, like, my understanding is that like ports have always been like places of commerce, and I guess in the early industrial revolution they were even more important, perhaps maybe even more so in this country than others, since the New World had so many new goodies, I guess, for everybody. But it's cool that there's still like a legacy of those historic things within this country, going back to the whole idea of going somewhere else like Europe or something like that, which I've already said why I wouldn't really want to go and do that, and it's still pretty much the same story by and large, but it's just like, there's a lot to this country, and I'll admit it, I was feeling a little prideful today as I biked along this really cool trail, this old rail bed that's been converted into like a mixed-use crushed gravel path. And I was like, there's like so much here to see, like, and I've biked a couple of times across it in different capacities, and I still haven't even probably scratched the surface of it for the most part, certainly haven't done that. And I just think that that's so cool that there's so much to it. Like, I don't think I've seen the Missouri River before. Maybe I have. I don't remember. It didn't leave an impression. So if I did see it, it was probably while I was like driving or something like that, which doesn't really count, but kind of does still. If it would, however you have to make it happen, that's valid. Let's see. A little nervous about putting this shirt here. Is there like a smart way to do this? Maybe. I'm trying to dry all of my stuff. So, okay. I probably should take a picture of this, my little triage area. Let's see. The sun is going to be pretty dramatic when it sets. This is kind of a good picture. Yeah, that'll do. But yeah, there's no reason for me to feel like I need to leave to go and have an adventure, and that's just more and more true by the day, because I'm just like, there's just so much out here, it's crazy. So before I start just straight up repeating myself over and over again, the coffee place was great, really enjoyed that. It was like very expensive, but it seemed like very high quality stuff, so I was like, well, happy to help a local mom and pop style business. I think the most telling thing of the whole experience was that I bought a chocolate bar that I knew it was like an artisan chocolate bar, like something special about it, like it had a name or something like that, but I didn't realize it was going to be $10, and I was like, whoa, that's an expensive chocolate bar, my dude. And so that was the kind of place that it was, but very, very good. Everything tasted like very high quality, and I gotta say, like, they made me a decaf Americano, I think, and it tasted like it was one of the tastiest cups of coffee I've ever had in my life. And I don't have a very sophisticated palate, as you probably can guess, but for what it's worth, I just usually, when it comes to decaf, I expect it to be like to just taste like previously run grounds, like going through the whole brewing process one more time, trying to get all the life out of it. And this it tasted like a real cup of coffee. I was shocked. So that was breakfast, and then I was like, well, I'm getting a little too comfy here. I need to head on. And so I left and hit the Katy Trail proper, and basically did like a 45 or 50 mile push or something like that to basically get to Jefferson City, which, as far as I understand it, is the capital of Missouri. And Jefferson City was really, really cool. I have to give a huge shout out to the people at the bike shop / cafe there. I think I wrote it down. It was like the Red Wheel Steam House, I think. Because I'm going to leave them a Google review because that was just like outstanding. Yes, Red Wheel Steam House. But anyway, yeah. So what am I saying? Yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was very enjoyable to be on the Katy Trail because it was just like no stress. It was like, it was rare. It's been very rare for me to be in a stress-free situation when it comes to the roads that I've taken and or the places that I've camped and stuff like that. And the Katy Trail is just like, man, it's made for. It feels like I had this thought today. I was like, this kind of feels like what I imagine what is that thing called? Oh my God, is it called the El Camino? I can't remember now. But in any case, we got some folks coming by. Hey there. Just, being nice, being kind to the locals. Don't want to arise any alarms or anything like that, whatever the phrase may be. But yeah, I went to this awesome cafe that was also a bike shop. I decided that I would do a little bit of work on my pedals because I realized that because of the style of pedal that I have, I could actually make it to where I could take the studs off of one side of them and then be able to wear them without them destroying my shoes. And so I had a couple of lattes. I had a straight up latte with coffee, and then also a matcha latte with matcha, go figure, which both were great. And I got to borrow some tools that made the job much easier. It was like I had to remove I think 8 pins on both pedals or something like that, which is a lot of work if you have the wrong tool, especially, which I don't have the best multi-tool. Like, it's good, it kind of does everything, my multi-tool, but it also is not purpose built for everything, if that makes sense. I have better versions of most of the tools on the multi-tool that do a really good job of specifically doing a job that they're made for. But anyway, yeah, so that was awesome. I loved being there. That was that was my plan. I was like, I'm gonna go somewhere, go to a cafe, kind of work on my bike and just kind of think about what I want to do for the rest of the day and how I want to get there, all those kinds of things. And so I did do that and that was great. And then I had become obsessed and fixated on the idea of getting sandals today at a certain point. I was just like, I really would love to have some actual strappy sandals. And, shout out to Allie, my hiking partner from years past, because we biked cross country together, and she wore sandals the whole time. I think that they weren't Chacos. I guess they were Tevas. And she got a lot of flack for doing that. I didn't really give her a hard time. I was just like, I wouldn't do it, but I think it probably is fine to do. And today when I was biking, I was thinking also about that True Marmalade guy again, because I know that he wears sandals when he bikes. And, usually the idea of doing that would be something that would really turn me off, because I'd be like, I don't want to hurt my feet by accident, or slip, which slipping is still a very real possibility because I need to figure something out with these pedals. I think I need some straps for the pedals themselves because it is a little slippery. It would definitely not be a suitable option for any day that it rains, so that's something to keep in mind for me. But in any case, I was very happy that I was able to go to this cafe and do some research, because there was a shoe store that was not even a mile and a half away called American Shoe. And I was I was honestly blown away by the service. I was kind of joking initially because there was someone at the front who immediately started asking how they could help me, and I was like, well, I'm looking for some sandals, and then she proceeded to take me over to this area where all the sandals were and talk about the different features and things that they had, the details about them. And I was just like, wow, this is a lot. Like, this is awesome. Like, because it is actually important to me to like make a good choice here, because like, the shoe that I'm going to wear is going to be worn a lot in the near future. And so let's see if I can get this on here. Man, this is like a legit setup. This is like a little like recovery day kind of style feeling. Getting all my needful stuff happy and dry again. It's crazy how long it's been kind of moist for. Like, it rained several days ago now, I think. So kind of crazy that it's still needing to dry. But hey, that's fine. But anyway, yeah, I went to the shoe store and they had these shoes, these sandals that are made apparently by like the same guy who invented Chacos. He left the company. They had so many details in addition to just generally being helpful. But they were like, yeah, this guy, after leaving Chacos, he went and created his own thing. What are these things called? Something Tread, I forget. Like, I don't know. But they're super comfortable. And really, honestly, on good days, like I might be calling it a little bit early to think that this is going to be a suitable shoe for the near future. But in any case, I am very happy to have it, and at least for as long as the weather holds in the way that it has so far, it's pretty great. It's just about as good as it gets, and man, this is so cool. Like, I feel pretty good about this decision so far. Things could always change, and I probably should be cognizant of that fact. But at least for now, this all seems very copacetic and permissible, As long as everyone is respectful of everyone else, things are usually fine. But yeah, after leaving the American shoe place, it was like, I don't know, I think I did 5 or so extra miles that were not on the trail, because I had to go into Jefferson City in order to run all my errands and everything like that. And so, like, what am I talking about? The total mileage for today is not actually completely indicative of, like, progress per se. There's a lot of backtracking, but yeah, as I stand rather, this is all great. I'm very happy with all this. It was a great day. And I'm happy to have made the decision, I guess now officially, to call it for the day. It's just a nice thing to do, my dude. Let's see. I do have some list items. Let's see. For anyone who might be listening, and if they have an idea and are willing to share it based on what I'm about to say, I would be interested in soliciting feedback for this. I was thinking that it would be interesting to actually live stream this experience. Like, I wouldn't want to do it all day, every day, but, maybe 4 or 8 hours a day, just like streaming the actual part of the ride that is movement based. I don't think I'd want to incorporate it in every aspect, because I think that would become exhausting at a certain point. But yeah, I don't know. Does that sound intriguing? Does anyone listening think that they would watch that for any given amount of time? I just kept thinking of the Truman Show, and I was like, well, there's a precedent for this being a thing. Like, the idea that everyone like gathered around to watch this live stream person like just live their life without any other details or context. It seemed like it was captivating, but it was also a movie. But yeah, I was thinking like one of those Google, or maybe it's not even Google, but one of those 360-degree cameras affixed to the front of my bike. I don't know. It seems like it would be interesting. So let me know what you think. One of my list items. Let me see if I can open my phone. Okay. I was thinking today that I actually like the idea of having a little bit more structure in my days, because like I'm kind of finding that I am wanting to do a little bit more than just bike, because I do enjoy biking, but again, it's like part of what I really enjoy about it is this mission, the sense of like doing something, there being a specific purpose, and I really only need one reason for me to like start doing something. Like for instance, like the reason I'm biking out to Colorado is just because I have this invitation to be on this podcast, you know. Otherwise I'd really have no business to go there, and it would be an arbitrary place to pick. Like I've had bigger decisions in my life before that were like made arbitrarily, and that seemed like, oh man, I got distracted. I was thinking about the river. Anyway, yes, so I basically I need only one reason to do something, and usually that's enough for me to commit to a very different like lifestyle of pursuing whatever that goal is. And there was a larger point, I believe. Oh yeah, so I want to make this thing like, I already solicited this on Instagram, so I don't know how effective it might have been. But I was asking for like people to send me things that they think that I should listen to, and I was just thinking that like for maybe an hour or two every day, probably at the very beginning of the day, like just basically forcing myself to listen to something that I would otherwise never gravitate towards, just to have like that little semblance of I guess organization or structure to the things that I'm doing. I feel like I would enjoy that. I call it school, the school portion of my day. Learning, regardless of whether or not what I'm learning is something that I would say is learning by my own definition. But I did like the idea of that, and so I'm thinking that I will pursue it. I'm also just kind of invested in my needfuls, continuing. I've been doing my needfuls this whole time, so I don't know if you know that. I've kind of talked my way through it for the most part. But yeah, I have emptied my bag of all of its contents, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah, and I probably actually should move my bike a little bit closer to the sun as well, but maybe I should free my water bottle first so it doesn't get hot. No one likes a hot water bottle. Let's move the bike into the sun as well. This just feels like very holistic, you know. It feels like giving your horse like a break or something like that. It's like, it's something that's technically needed, but rarely given, perhaps. What a joy. I can't say, I can't deny the fact that when I initially passed this space that I'm at now, my like first thought upon review as I rolled past it, I was like, that's a place that I could see myself regretting not staying at. And yeah, true to form, I think if I hadn't come back, I think I would have been like, man, that was like such a perfect spot. Like, it was so pretty on the lake. It seemed like it would be low volume in general. It seemed like a sure thing. That was one thing on the Appalachian Trail I remember hearing once at a shelter. There was some guy there, and you know, it's interesting, you hear, I would say, higher than average use of cliches on the Appalachian Trail. You know, you can make a fast friend at a shelter just because you happen to be doing the same thing, and you know, it's not hard to feel a deep connection with someone when you're discussing like the recent misery that you overcame, really. And so I just remember one time some guy was like, you know, you should never pass up a sure thing. And I was like, damn, because I think a lot of the times I do. Because I'm like, well, if a sure thing happened once, then surely it will happen again. But it's like, it's about that perfect timing, you know. It's like, this was like, it was 6 p.m., like the sun is definitely starting to go down. It's actually really, really good biking weather now. It's like as cool as it could possibly be while still being lit. The sun's super low on the horizon, and the trees are tall enough to overcome it. Like, it feels like it's 8 in the morning right now, you know. And I was thinking that I would stop at a gas station at some point, grab some sort of an energy drink, and bust out another 20 miles, and then just be like, all right, well, 20 more miles, sweet. Maybe get myself closer to a McDonald's, which I did find that there was one that's, it's not like 8 miles out of the way, but it's like more north and less west. I would have to make up some kind of arbitrary distance. But honestly, I've never really cared too much about. I don't really care about what the route is. Like I know on the Appalachian Trail and even on bike rides as well. Like I don't. For me, it's about the total mileage. Period. Like it doesn't matter if it all contributed to the overall goal of the destination. Like I just enjoy cumulative miles, and I love errands. I love basically going out and seeking. I guess I'm a hunter and a gatherer. It's like I don't know. It's a fun lifestyle. It's so simple, but so hard. But again, does feel quite familiar. And yeah, it's easy to be in touch with. Man, I am so scared of my stuff like flying away. Like if my clothes went into the river, I'd be pretty upset about that. As you might imagine, this feels actually very secure though. I'm surprised. It's gonna be a nice breeze all night. Oh man, I feel like I'm at a resort. I feel like I'm like at a resort in Florida. It's just like this huge body of water. It's flowing pretty quickly too. Honestly, I don't have a good sense of like water speed, but it looks like it would really carry you away. I don't know how wide this river is either, but it looks like, I mean, I can see the shore on the other side pretty easily, but it's definitely it's a considerable distance. I don't know, 1/10 of a mile, 1/4 of a mile, maybe. Again, I have no expertise. Okay, I'm looking in this trash can, and there's a bunch of beer cans, which means people definitely come here to get rowdy. But maybe it was for a party. Who knows? I'm gonna take my chances. I feel good about this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I have like a bunch of bug bites all over me. Sorry, again, me being stubborn. But I don't really have like a ton of new ones per se. These are just what I would consider persistent bites that have just been here for a while, it seems. But it's always funny to me because I will occasionally wake up in the middle of the night, like scratching my bites. Because I'm pretty adamant usually about not doing that when I'm awake, and it's just funny when I wake up and I'm like in the middle of a ferocious scratch. So anyway, I'll leave it there for now. I'm gonna go back to doing my thing and tending to my needfuls. So hope you have a good night. Hope this clip sounded good. I'll have to review it and see if that's the case. But yeah, all right, 6:41, time to go. Love you, bye.